Always gonna have a hat. And we're back. Episode 70. We are live and direct. We were scheduled to have a guest, and we're working diligently on locating them. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Bryan Kern.
I'm half vaxxed, fully waxed, and ready to go. I'm looking in the rafters, waiting for him to drop down. I'm assuming he's going to do a sneak attack on us at some point.
I don't know. We'll have to send someone to check Disney World. At least send someone to put an APB out in Orlando. We're looking for a luchador.
A masked vigilante.
Vigilante.
And it's not. I want to point out, it's not a CDC regulated mask either. So it should be pretty easy.
We don't know that.
Spot. That is true. It does cover his mouth, so that is true.
Yeah,
it may be.
So I know you, as well as our guests, are probably wondering, where the hell's Jordan Tupper? He's here every week. I was going to display his comment when he said hi, but I don't know where he is. Maybe he had something to do in Saskatchewan.
I forgot he's in Saskatchewan. Who knows? Maybe they're on fire.
Oh God, I don't think you could even light a fire out there, dude. It's too cold. Has the baby been kicked off anything else? I mean, I kind of want to bring him on the podcast just to kick him off.
I think we actually have a shot. We're probably going to be the only ones that are willing to actually talk to him.
Dude, yeah.
The mess he's in.
Just bring it on and be like, so, the baby, how exactly do you feel about people with HIV? Well, first of all, none of them.
I guess I got to do this shit solo. I don't know. But hey, I feel like we're finally starting to hold people accountable, which is kind of nice, and hearing this tirade that he went on a couple weeks ago, Rolling Loud, Lollapalooza kicked him off the weekend before he was supposed to play. He's been dropped from this year's ACL. We were going to try to attend and maybe get an interview in there. I'll still be there, but I
was going to throw a busted ass Adidas at him, but now I got to throw a busted ass Sketcher at him.
The other one, though, the other Adidas at him.
The other Adidas. Dude.
I did. Oh, shit.
Dude, every time I read his quotes from his awful homophobic rant, the person I'm reading it to goes, what? Why? Yeah. Who? Yeah. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what possessed him to say any of that shit. I don't know, I guess I get the point he was trying to make, but man, he went about it by saying all the wrong shit.
Was he trying to make a point?
He was trying to say, instead of being if you don't have COVID, put your cell phone lights in the air. And his dumbass was if you ain't got AIDS. And it's okay, that's way different. You're offending a large group of people and you're completely miseducated on this.
That's where I'm lost. How do you misconstrue the two? How do you confuse the two?
Why bring up, why would he even mention AIDS?
AIDS come out of your mouth? I don't understand. If I can understand if you were
out of your mouth, don't kiss that person.
I can understand if you were gonna say if you've got the vid, because some people call
works, right? Yeah. I'm smart.
You know what's so funny is I just watched the episode last night of It's Always Sunny from season 2 or 3, where they finally meet Dee and Dennis's real dad, and Frank is pretending to be Dee's fiance. And he goes, oh, yeah, I just got done working an AIDS retreat or something. And Frank freaks out and he goes, what? You got the AIDS? You were talking with people with AIDS? You can't shake my hand, man. This is serious shit. I got to go shower now. And he talks about going and showering. And it's just, that sounds like the baby. The baby is fucking Frank reincarnated just for Rolling Loud 2021.
The baby honestly believes that he, quote, don't have no dirty ass fans, and that none of his fans, that he claims that his fans take care of themselves and that none of them have HIV. So just be a fan of the baby, get down with the bop, and you'll never contract HIV or AIDS. We cured it. Boom. Took all that time.
I want to see the look on his face when the dissonance sets in, when he finally does learn that one of his fans does in fact have AIDS, and I wonder if his brain's gonna explode, if he's gonna be able to fathom it. Is he gonna give his condolences? Is he gonna tell him to put their lighter away? What's he gonna do?
I feel like he would look at him and be like, nah, no, you don't.
Yeah, or are you not a real fan? I don't know. That's just weird. Hey, cheers, buddy. Wow. Episode 70. We're on the march to 100 over here.
Doing it. Still trying to plan something big for 100. I think we're gonna open a Hall of Fame. We couldn't get Tekashi on the 69 episode. Also, I think I need to make an apology. We had a 69th episode that lacked in 69 puns. That's my fault. That is completely my fault. I made it a Kanye-centric episode instead of a 69-centric episode. And for that,
I opened with calling us hard men. I opened with saying that we were going to stroke each other's egos. We had a couple of the jokes in there, but there was at one point 5 of us in the chat, so I don't know if it was necessarily in sync with the puns. But you're right. We probably could have done a little bit more due diligence on our part, for sure.
If there's ever a chance to be lowbrow and we don't take it, we've let you down. We've let down our viewers, our fans, all the people. I let down Jamie. We need highbrow is for successful podcasts like whatever the fuck Metallica just launched. Is it called Enter the Podcast?
I don't know what it's called, but it's apparently an 8-part podcast. Well, they're doing their own podcast, and the first 8 parts, I don't know why the first 8 parts were selected for this, but the first 8 parts have to do with creating the Black Album. So apparently you're going to hear Metallica in their own words talk through their writing process, their organization. It is going to be interesting because you're going to get 3 of the original 4 members of Metallica being able to sit down, talk about some of their masterpieces, probably their Black Album, the most popular album that they've probably released, came out in 92, I believe. As a Metallica fan and as a fan of metal and music, I think it is going to be something interesting. I just hope it isn't stock. I hope it doesn't come in sounding like a bunch of trash cans and pots and pans.
I'll give it a shot because I think what is the documentary on creating Saint Anger?
Some kind of monster.
Some kind of monster. Yeah. That's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. The band is vulnerable. I mean, the band is outright blubbering stupid in that documentary, and they had either the balls or the confidence to release that, and I like that. I like that a lot.
A little bit of both.
Because to my understanding of what I perceive Metallica to be now, super egocentric rock stars, I don't see them putting out something that paints them in a weak light, and they did, and I really enjoyed it. So maybe this will be good. But if it's 8 parts for the Black Album, how many parts for, I don't know, load, unload?
How
many parts for Saint Anger?
I feel like, they already did the documentary, so hopefully we won't get anything else.
I want more. I need more. I only want to know about that album.
I'm a fan of that album, and I know that I'm probably going to get some knives in the back because of it. But
the snare is terrible.
Yeah, but I'm not mad at it, and I think that they tried to do something different. They're Metallica. They're allowed to do that. I'm excited for the early shit. I just hope that they can remember it. They had tours and tours and tours sponsored by Jägermeister. They were the Jägermeister symbols for so long in the music industry. And we have Kill 'Em All. We have Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, and Justice for All. We have a bunch of these albums that, I think I would like, especially 80s, man. I'd love to hear how the writing process for the world's biggest metal band was in the 80s, especially from their own words. But I think that we're probably going to get, a great way to start off the podcast with the Black Album. Again, their most popular album, probably their most successful. And as long as they're not doing it on Friday nights, I'm cool with
it. If they go up against us on Friday nights, I'm catching all the smoke that James Hetfield's lawyers got for me.
We're just gonna change our name to the Metallica podcast. So hopefully,
oh my god, yeah. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna change it to it just sounds stock podcast.
Exactly, the stock podcast.
It just sounds regular. It sounds stock.
That's something that I do hope we don't get. I do hope we don't see too much of Lars. I think if there's anybody that can probably take the least amount of time on the podcast, definitely Lars.
Why is Lars the most annoying band member out of any American band?
One word: Napster. If that motherfucker would have kept his mouth shut over Napster, he wouldn't have the hate that he has. And I don't really hate Lars Ulrich. He's a fucking phenomenal drummer.
Oh no, I hate him.
A legend.
So if he didn't sue Napster and ruin my 1999 when I'm trying to download Butterfly by Crazy Town because I'm not paying $13 for that piece of shit record, if he hadn't have done that, we would praise him. We wouldn't say that he unlearned how to play the drums because I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for Napster, we'd be hating on Lars and his dad.
Why his dad?
Because he's fucking annoying.
His dad is?
Yeah, his dad's annoying. He's in that documentary. It's like, dude, why'd you bring your dad? Like,
and see, that's where I think.
Did you call him to pick you up from camp?
I think a lot of the fans, the old school Metallica fans, really departed from Metallica after that documentary came out, because you did see a vulnerable side of them, and a lot of people don't like to see that. Hearing that James Hetfield was put on a very strict regimen of only playing guitar for an hour a day or some shit, or he was only allowed to play like a weekend out of the month because it was too much stress and too much. I mean, granted, yeah, you were the biggest metal band in the entire world. You do have a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and you were fucking, again, the biggest thing ever. You played in front of 3 million people in like Mexico City or some outlandish shit. Yeah, I can imagine that the pressure is heavy. But at the same time, as fans, we have to understand that band members are going to be vulnerable, and there's going to be some moments where you may not, think that highly of them and some of the shit that they do. And I think Lars he went all in on the asshole, man. He really doubled down on the Napster thing. And in the early 2000s, when the digital world is fucking booming and you're learning how to do all these crazy things and you're trying to put a halt to music rights. I mean, and what did it do? It very well could have created the streaming services that we have today, because now, instead of having to go to peer-to-peer websites and Pirate Bay and fucking, Kick-Ass Torrents and all these other spots that we used to go to get our music, we just hop on Spotify and Apple Music and we start listening. Like,
in all honesty, I feel like the creation of Napster, LimeWire, BearShare, Kazaa, Morpheus, whatever you used, all those peer-to-peer sharing programs. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't. BearShare was the worst. I'm pretty sure that one was filled with
out for BearShare.
BearShare. What was the other crap one? LimeWire.
LimeWire was rough. I remember when you and me used to get albums off of Boxed and Slum, son. We used to go into the fucking
shit
forums
still exists
and download the links, And
so that site's so old, and my membership there is so old that I can no longer log in because I don't have the correct website. You can't go to slums.boxton.com or nothing and then get there. Mm-mm. It's a special link. I got to find it in an old email from my Hotmail account from like 1998.
Rough.
Yo, I'm gonna get that though. Shouts to Boxton if anyone knows what that is.
Yeah, man. I got the fucking Diplomats album off that.
Yes, I'm gonna get on some Dipset news in a little bit too. Before we get off that, fuck it. I already lost my train of thought because I'm fucking high. Dipset.
Yes.
Dipset versus the Lox. They had this big versus battle. I will wholeheartedly say it's the best versus I've seen. Live crowd, New York City. It was wild. I didn't watch the beginning. I didn't know it was airing, and I got word on Twitter. I seen Deezus Nice, of all people, tweeted out, Sheik Luch just called the entire Dipset pussy in front of the whole crowd. Shit's about to go down. And I tuned in, and man, everyone on stage is a rapper, but them some comedians, because there was some funny shit being said. Like Dipset and the Lox have a microphone, so they're going hit for hit, battle for battle, big New York records. And he plays as Jadakiss starts a song. He goes, "Everybody know this one," and Cam go, "No, they don't." Just hating.
No.
So everyone ruled the Lox as the winners. Not upset over it, because the real winners of that battle is all of us. Jordan, our good friend Jordan, asked who won, and I said all of us, because afterwards they announced a tour, the Rap Superheroes Tour, the Lox, the Diplomats, and get this, the openers, straight from North Philly, state property. Beanie Siegel, the Young Guns, Oskino, Petey Crack. Oh man, that's wild. Yeah. It's going to be in Austin at the HEB Center. As soon as tickets go on sale, I'm buying them all, bro. Like, we going.
That's fucking crazy. I didn't even know
coming in from out of town to go to it. So
until I saw your tweet about it being the greatest versus ever, I didn't really catch wind of it. Although I did see the promotional flyers for it prior, but it didn't just register. I didn't register that they were doing a versus battle. And I think that if I can speak to the excitement I have about these, some of them, not all of them, not all of them have been good. I thought the Birdman one was pretty dope. But a couple of them have fallen flat. But I will say that I think that there's a lot to be said for here, because what do we get out of it? We get a tour. We get a tour with two great acts, two great groups.
It's a tour that like you don't see them tour often, and they're huge. Like, I mean, I would say they carry more weight in New York because they're a big deal in New York City, but I mean, these are guys that, like, the Lox have big hits, the Dipset has big hits. State Property, as much as I love them, I don't think a lot of people remember exactly who they are, because they had 2 albums and then fell out with The Rock, and that was it. But it was You remember Beanie Siegel and Freeway
Yeah,
had
I was
that
gonna say Beanie
rock the
Siegel
mic?
was. Yeah, and I mean, in Freeway, is Freeway a part of state property?
Freeway's not technically in state prop. He just shows up because he's from Philly, and that's
Yeah,
all the state prop dudes are from Philly.
Freeway slightly retarded. I think I really enjoyed Freeway, although, I will say, speaking of battle rapping, he did have like the same cadence when he would battle rap people, and I think people caught on to that. And they kind of, it was even a joke for a while to give the Freeway flow when you were doing a rap, because his flow was it was the same, and it was this and it was that, and it was like very easy to pick up on. But nonetheless, we're seeing older groups. Yeah, we're seeing older groups come back. We're seeing them put on these decent shows, and then what are we getting? We're getting fucking a tour out of it. And I mean, would we have ever seen a Lox and a Diplomats tour back in the day? I don't know. But the fact that they can go out on stage, rip each other apart, be funny, crack some jokes, do their songs, and then say, hey, guess what? We're going to do a tour for the people. That's awesome, man. I think what I think started off as kind of a corny little thing to do has turned into something beneficial for not only the fans but these groups too, because a lot of them are older and they're making a comeback.
I've actually got a hold of our guest, Mr.
What up?
Loco, Mr. Blanco Loco. He says he's in Kentucky. I guess because they're both competing for OVW right now,
Right.
and he doesn't have good internet access, so he's going to try to chime in with his phone here in a second. So we'll see if we can get him connected. No one's popped up yet, but definitely want to talk to these two because they're super interesting. You got any other music news?
I mean, you can call it music news. I don't know about anybody listening, but I feel like I'm a sucker for like early, TGIF Nick at Night shit, right? When I was a young kid, if I'm scrolling through my streaming services now and I see an old show, I jump in to maybe get a little bit of a nostalgia kick, right? I've watched some Wonder Years, some Boy Meets World, not watching the new shit though. You know what I'm saying? I was a fan of the Munsters growing up. Now, the Munsters is obviously an older show from like the 60s, the 70s, I believe, black and white, maybe even the 50s. And it was about like this basically horror family, a Frankenstein, a vampire, a werewolf, a bunch of other crazy creatures. And wouldn't you know, Rob Zombie, the master of horror in the current day and era, is going to remake the Munsters. I think this is fucking dope. We had him remake Halloween, which I thought was really fucking good. Obviously, House of a Thousand Corpses is fucking great, and now he's taken on a show that was originally like a comedy. It was like a sitcom back in the day. He's going to do his horror twist on it, which I think is great. I'm fucking jacked for this. And most recently, he just released some of the sets and props and costume designs that he's going to be using. And sure enough, man, he's throwing it back. I think it's great. I think I'm excited for it. I don't know if you caught wind of it and were happy for it, but I'm a fan of Rob Zombie and I'm a fan of the Munsters. So to see them coming together, I'm excited about it.
If you told me there was a Munsters movie, I wouldn't give two shits at all. I don't like a lot of reboots, and I think a lot of, if you take an old classic TV show and make a movie out of it, a la the Brady Bunch, I don't give a fuck about those movies. I never do. But Rob Zombie's doing it, so I'll give it a shot. But I'm not going to say that it's like piquing my interest because it's still the Munsters. And I think the casting is going to be crucial because if, Herman Munster is he's like an oaf and a comedic relief in the show. If you don't have that, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Man.
I read that the Addams Family movie that's coming along, they decided to cast for Gomez Addams, Luis Guzman.
Yes, sir. Gomez Addams.
I love Luis Guzman. I don't know how that fits. I heard
that it was a Wednesday series. I heard that it was a series based on Wednesday, and yeah, he's bringing in that role, which I think is fucking. I mean, it fits. Why not? I mean, I think Luis Gomez is fucking great, dude. I love that motherfucker. He's fucking hilarious, dude. And fucking Waiting, so nasty. Fucking, he's the best, dude. I love him. He's the greatest.
He's been in so many movies.
He says it's so veiny because it's the Batwing. It's so veiny.
He's in so many movies, dude. He's in Carlito's Way. He's in like more films than he can even count. And like, he's that guy that if you ran into him on the street, you would be like, "You're that guy."
Yeah, you may not know his name. You may not fucking even be able to put a movie into him, but you know that he's in movies.
You know who else is like that? Peter Dante.
Oh yeah, Adam Sandler's buddy, absolutely, 100%. Yep.
The dude from Grandma's Boy that sells
Yeah,
the weed, man, and
yeah.
he's in
Why
Little
are you putting your
Nicky.
Why are you putting your Christmas lights up in July? It's July. Oh shit! It is July. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh my god.
So he lives in the desert. Have you ever partied with Peter Dante?
No, but I do tell people that I was at the taqueria you were at when you met him, and now suddenly you believe that I was when I wasn't.
I could have swore you were.
I
You
wasn't.
probably weren't. Okay,
I
but
am
no.
now.
Two little plot twists. I have partied with him at his mansion, and his entire fucking countertop and like kitchen and all the shit. Michael Renteria, a bunch of people used to party with him because all he
He
would do.
has a mansion?
Bro, he's fucking loaded, first of all. Well, it's not like a mansion, but he has a fucking pretty ball Palm Springs house. Secondly, he came in and used to hit on fucking Christine all the time at Islands when she worked at Islands. And fucking shout outs to John. John was fucking super hot headed one time about it and was like super pissed at him. And we were like, bro, it's Peter Dante. Why are you going to be mad at Peter Dante for hitting on Christine? And
What are
like,
you gonna do? Kick him out of your band too?
and so shout outs to John. But
Shout outs
anyways,
to Islands, the most delicious part of this story.
anyways, in Peter Dante's house, mason jars, and I'm not talking about like little mason jars. I'm
Full
talking
of
the
human
fat,
heads.
I'm talking the fat ones with like the clip-on lids, full of fucking weed, dude, all over the place. The dude is just as much a stoner in real life as he is in the movies, and he absolutely can fucking rage.
That's crazy. Yeah, you told me that story so many times, and I enjoyed that taqueria so much that I said, "Fuck it, I'm in that story." And now I just tell people that story as if I'm there.
Fair. It's a great
Uh,
fucking. I eat that whenever I go visit back into California. I eat there all the fucking time. It's
I would
great.
love to go back there because they do nachos with multicolored chips, and the carne asada is fire.
Yep, and the fucking if you get their enchiladas, hello, son, hello.
All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of wrestling news, and
Let's
this.
go, baby.
So this shit has bugged me. Oh, yo, shout out to Jordan Tupper. We were wondering where you were. Won't be able to stay. Wish you a great episode. Hey, hold it down in Saskatoon or Prince Albert for us, my man. This wrestling news bummed me out because there's been budget cuts and they've cut a shit ton of wrestlers. Like they could be somebody involved in a current storyline, featured on television, anyone from the jobber to a former champion, and they're all getting cut. And today we see a ton of NXT guys get cut. The reason this is like so sad to me and might be more sad than I would say someone like a Rusev getting cut or an Aiden English or any of them, like they had their run. They had championships. They had time. The people that were cut today, most of them had no time on the brand and barely got to establish themselves. Like, sadly, some of these people were cut so quickly after joining the NXT brand and not having enough television time that I don't know if they're going to be able to up their booking fee enough following a WWE stint. You know what I mean? Like they weren't featured enough, so no one might make that correlation. Let me see if you recognize any of these names. Former North American champion Bronson Reed is like the biggest one on there. He is a massive Australian. He was about to make a main roster debut. He had already worked dark matches. I have no idea. Bobby Fish, I knew this would happen. As soon as the Undisputed Era broke up, they put him in a match. He teamed with Kyle O'Reilly briefly, and then boom, he's fired. Mercedes Martinez, a veteran. She's intense. She's street. She's great in the ring. She's scary. Last we saw, she got knocked out in the ring by Xia Li, and now she's no longer with the company. You look at the rest of the list, former North American champ Leon Ruff, who was from Evolve, Tyler Rust, who was involved in an angle with Roderick Strong in the Diamond Mine stable. They just debuted. Jake Atlas, who had a decent run, was getting over. Kona Reeves, who they put a ton of time into and reinvented the whole gimmick. Dude does a reverse Samoan drop, calls it a Hawaiian drop. Built him up, got injured, been off TV, now he's fired. These are all NXT people.
The Bronson Reed one I was surprised by. I do know who Bronson Reed is. I enjoyed him because he kind of had like the earthquake vibe, maybe a little bit of the fucking Crush vibe. I think I read a tweet where he was like, I mean, he didn't obviously talk shit or anything, but he was kind of like, "You've unleashed the monster.
You don't know what you've done."
Yeah. I mean, and like, hey, if an AEW could pick him up, fuck yeah. Especially now that AEW is expected to get Bray Wyatt. I mean, that would be a fucking clash. You know, you could throw him in there with fucking Malachi, our boy Malachi. You could fucking throw him in there with anybody that fucking AEW's recently
I don't
bought. I
want
think
to
he'd be a
see
good talent.
Bray. I don't want to see Bray go there.
No, why? Where would you? I mean, it's
I
that
don't
or
want to
Impact.
see Bray go anywhere because he won't be Bray. He can't be Bray away from WWE. The best thing they had going creatively was the shit he was involved in. Eventually, the Fiend got stale. The shit with Alexa Bliss, they spun off. A lot of people don't like anymore. There's always ways to bring it back, but they didn't bring him back since WrestleMania. He had complained about depression, anxiety. I know at one point he had an affair with the ring announcer. They've let her go too.
Who?
You didn't know that?
No.
JoJo, the ring announcer.
Yo, she cute? What
Yeah,
up?
she is cute. She got curly hair. So he full on cheated on his wife.
Who's his
And
wife?
I don't know. So the chick he married, but she was pretty pissed. She was airing him out when this was going on because it was like public knowledge. Like, yeah, if you're
Wow.
on television, don't cheat on your chick because the same thing happened with Jason Jordan, who broke his neck. He's injured. He can't compete anymore. He's a producer backstage. His wife outed him for cheating on the road.
I mean, what's the gentleman that announces for WWE who's all tatted up?
Corey
Him
Graves,
and him and what's her
Carmella.
face? Yeah, him and Carmella very publicly, and his wife took to Twitter and a couple other social medias and did some
She
rants as well.
called his ex-wife took to Twitter and said she was a home wrecker, but she was mainly just bitter. There wasn't a whole lot of like substance there. The Bray Wyatt thing is kind of dirty because there's not, I'm obviously a Bray Wyatt fan, but what do you say to excuse that? Like, oh, well, whatever, he's good in the ring. You have a wife and 2 kids at home and you betrayed them. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, I love Impact. I think they're really good. I think they don't get enough credit as they deserve. I don't see him meshing with Impact. If anywhere, he would go to AEW, but I just don't want to see it because it's not going to be Bray Wyatt. I don't know if he's going to be Wyndham Rotunda or what the deal is, but I want Bray Wyatt. I never wanted the Wyatt family to end. I never wanted the Fiend to lose to one RKO. Like, why does the Fiend no sell these guys, and then when he gets one RKO, he loses the title at Mania? Like, that was stupid. Like,
didn't he no sell a fucking jackhammer from like Goldberg or some shit, or no sell a spear, like 8 spears or something, and like kicked up after one fucking. I remember that he used to kick up after one. He would kick up after the 1 count. Normally for the non-wrestling marks out there, normally it's 1, 2, and then as the 3 comes down, there's a kick up, and it's dramatic. They would get the 1, and he would start kicking up, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? Is he superhuman? What I didn't like about the Fiend, and I mean, obviously Bray Wyatt's a great fucking wrestler, and he, all due respect, I think that he should go wherever he wants to go, and I think they should pay him top dollar for it. But I almost felt that they were creating, I don't want to call it a narrative, but they were creating the matches around the Fiend, if that makes sense. Like, they were making his power and his like allure almost too much. They would change the color red when the entire stage and the entire ring was red when he would wrestle the entire match. It made the matches kind of weird and hard to watch.
It looked bad. It didn't.
He was
look
no
good.
selling everything. The Playhouse thing with fucking John Cena was pretty dope.
It was inconsistent. Like, if you're gonna no sell someone like Goldberg, then you can't lose the title at Mania to 1 RKO. Like, I'm not saying like change the finish. Like, have Randy deliver 2 or 3. Do something. Like, y'all let us down with that. And then like the other part of it, like everything went black and the Fiend disappeared. The crowd was expecting more to happen, and when the lights came back on, everyone was bummed out. Everyone booed. There was a giant groan like immediately. Like, they fucked up. That was a big mistake at Mania. Now that we have live crowds again, someone said like you'd have to be really sad and depressed to go watch the Thunderdome era of WWE.
Wow.
There was very few good things in there. Very few. I would say there were some decent runs of women's tag champs with Nia and Shayna. I like that a lot. I think the introducing Reginald, who's now Reggie, I think that was decent. I think Drew had some decent matches with no crowds. His Mania match was decent. but man, I couldn't go back and watch Thunderdome era WWE now. I mean, did every like Malachi Black? You've seen him in AEW. You've seen his eyes all blacked out, right? You realize that's from when Ray he had that match with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, and they slammed him into the steps and carved his eye out.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they did it to Rey Mysterio
I
in the
remember
House
the Rey
of Horrors
Mysterio
match.
one. Yeah.
The next night on Raw, they did it to Alistair, now Malachi Black, and he wore an eye patch for a little bit. It was a decent little thing, but I mean, it was just really stupid that they were doing that. Plus, Rollins had no end game to being this fake prophet Jesus dude. Like, it was just shit he said, So I see all these cuts. I see bad storylines. I see storylines that don't go anywhere. I see guys that I was excited about a week ago now don't have a job.
Do you
They're
think that there's
taking away everything to be excited about.
Do you think that the Thunderdome era, I mean, we do know a bunch of wrestlers decided to take time off, right? Because they didn't want to compete. Do you think that the Thunderdome era was just a way to kind of keep people afloat? And now that we're out of that era, and we're back to the live crowds, we're back to a touring schedule, and we're back to, potentially really needing to have drawing power. I watched more Thunderdome stuff than I probably have watched live crowd stuff in the last year, I would say. Like I really watched some Thunderdome, Raw and SmackDown, and even caught some pay-per-views, right? We did WrestleMania at my house last year. Granted it was like right at the start of the pandemic, but we were still introduced to the no crowd mania. And it was interesting to see how they had these storylines, they had these angles, and they all
Last
seemed
year's
to,
Mania.
yeah, last year's, not this year's, yeah, because this year was back in front of a crowd, right? And so,
It had
and that's kind of my point. Like, we saw the Mania this year in front of a crowd, and you had Braun Strowman and Shane in a cage match, and then less than a month later, Strowman's cut.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, was having this whole period where you were building up characters and angles and dynamics during the Thunderdome set just going to go to the wayside? Did none of that matter now that we are back to this normal schedule, business as usual type of schedule?
That shit made me so mad because Braun was the perfect guy to run with the title, and they had two golden opportunities to do it. If they didn't want him to beat Brock for the title, there was other shit they could have done to get the title on him, but they put it on him too late. I would say like way too late. Like they had him red hot when he was still when he was beefing with Roman. He was red hot, and people loved seeing him beat up Roman and flip over the ambulance. Like, he could get away with doing goofy shit like that because we would still be like, oh, it's Braun. He's a monster. Of course he would flip an ambulance, Like, I wouldn't complain if he kept on flipping trucks and shit from there, but they didn't. They decided to turn him heel at the wrong time. Like, I won't forget when they had Ziggler, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman, the Dogs of War. It was a stable for one night, and I'm pretty sure it was just one of those Saudi Arabia shows. And they wrestled the Shield or Roman or whatever it was. I think it was the Shield because the Shield reunited before Moxley left again and shit. Yeah. It was just dumb, man.
Dogs of War is a great name, by the way.
It was, but it was a stable that didn't make any sense, and they literally queued them up with that name one time.
Wow, and it was Dolph Ziggler, Braun, and who?
Drew. When Drew McIntyre made his main roster debut, he was Dolph Ziggler's like tag partner.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was supposed to be like a Shawn and Razor or a Shawn and Diesel type of thing, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't end up going that way, and then they beefed and whatever. Dolph's another guy who gets jerked around by that company. He had complained that like he's the only guy on the roster right now that they're not making merch for. So they go out and make merch for him and Bobby Roode. They're called the Dirty Dogs. Generic ass name. They made a shirt for him. It's looking more and more like we're not going to have a guest tonight.
Fucking Kentucky, man. The last time I was in Kentucky, I lost my left nut. Now I'm losing my guest. What the fuck is this about?
Kentucky's cool. You got Papa John's headquarters in Louisville.
Louisville, that's
KFC.
it.
You got the Louisville Slugger. You got the Corvette Museum. I think they make the Chevy Cruze out there. You have OVW. You have the Thompson House in Newport, Kentucky, where they it's a haunted venue from all the victims of Thompson machine guns.
What?
Yeah, the Thompson House in Newport, Kentucky. It's a venue. It's basically Cincinnati, Ohio, but it's across the river, and it's owned by the Thompson family. Made that Thompson machine gun, and so they say it's haunted. I don't
It's
know
called
if
the
it is.
Thompson House.
I literally
Here
walked
we
in it
go.
like once.
Going down a rabbit hole. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Go ahead. I mean, that's the story I was told. I didn't see no ghost in there. I do know that I scraped the shit out of the bandwagon in that back alley, though.
You know, I'm not surprised that you're scraping the shit out of a bandwagon, Matt. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah. It
Stevens
was
Creek,
bad.
Arkansas? No.
No. Newport, Kentucky.
Anchorage, Kentucky?
No. Thompson. Thompson.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how to spell Thompson. I know how to
Uh-huh.
spell house, I think. I've got a Thompson House in
Howze.
Perryville, Kentucky.
Motherfucker, I'm gonna look this up right now. I swear, if I
You
find
definitely don't have to. You definitely. I'm on Wikipedia though, so it's bringing up literally every Thompson House.
Thompson House. Here you go. It's on 3rd Street in Newport, Kentucky, and it closes at 2 a.m.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, it's right there by the river, the Ohio River, because it's on the state line. The other side of the river is Cincinnati, and God,
Oh,
Cincinnati sucks.
we talking fucking old school machine
What's
gun over
going
here.
on, you
Okay.
fornicators?
Who said that?
Fornicating?
Jack Davini. Davini.
Yeah, that.
Davini. Let's go, baby.
So yeah, besides that, there's some NWA shows going on, and there's an all-women's show, NWA Empower, that Mickey James is booking. She announced Chelsea Green would be in the main event, so that'll be kind of fun.
Have you heard about John Moxley being slated for a show in in somewhere in the Middle East, and it's a bunch of former WWE stars that are slated to be on this event, and he's gone out publicly and said that he's never talked about being on this event and warning the fans, do not go to it, he will not be there. Have you heard about this?
No. What?
Yeah, here, I'll pull it up.
Shit. Oh,
I'll
man.
pull it up. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
So someone's out there booking. Oh shit! Hold on.
Yeah, man. People do that.
Pretty new to
People do that.
AEW. I only know about it from Cornette. Okay, if you only know about it from Cornette, your perception of it is probably fucked. I'm not going to say AEW is amazing or great because they have some annoying fanboys, but definitely check it out. They do stuff that WWE doesn't, so it's definitely fun. But man, if you're going off what Jim Cornette says, oh my god, Cornette fucking hates AEW.
What's the publication WON? Wrestling Observer News? Is that what that is?
Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Okay, so John Moxley, via the Wrestling Observer newsletter, John Moxley noted that he is being billed for a show with Qatar Pro Wrestling, along with a lot of other big former WWE and AEW names. He said that he has never spoken to anybody about the show, and he's not planning on going to the Middle East anytime soon.
Oh
for any
God.
Redditors in the Gulf or Middle East, please be careful and let us know what you know. Yeah, man. Wow. People are just trying to make some bucks off some names.
That is kind of weird because
expect?
there's a lot of wrestlers that specifically go to Qatar. I'm pretty sure it's that organization, and I haven't heard people call them out for being like bad business or anything. Like, they do get a lot of ex-WWE guys. They pay a lot, and they bring a shit ton of them over at once. When the last time I seen them do that shit, they had taken so many wrestlers from either past WWE guys and current, like Sammy Guevara went. They were taking announcers and commentators and all sorts of shit, dude. Like, whew. Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have some trouble when you go to their website and the fucking banner on the website is for an event on February 21st, 2020, and it features Enzo, the Great Khali, Eric Bischoff, Mark Henry, Rob Van Dam, Matt Sindel, Kevin Nash,
Seidel.
Road Warrior Animal, Chris Masters.
Yeah.
Brian
That was the
Cage,
event. Yeah, that's a solid ass lineup. I bet you Sammy
Super Slam
Guevara's
2.
on it.
Super Slam 2, February 21st, 2020.
Yep.
And but you go to their website and that's the last thing that they have up there. So what are they, just being stagnant? You haven't done anything in a year and a half? What the fuck?
I think they probably run shows once or twice a year. But like, if you're in Qatar and you're trying to book that kind of talent, you're not having those shows often. That's like a lot of money.
No.
Dream Girl Ellie is as cute as a button. You are correct. I don't know if they're going to be able to show up because they're stuck in Kentucky with no internet access.
Join us for this current show as we shit on Kentucky.
Oh my god!
I mean, seriously,
I was actually
causing us
pleasantly
some issues.
surprised in the stuff that Kentucky had, like because I'm from California. If you're not on the coast, you're Middle America, and your town is shot. But yeah, Kentucky, there was some shit there. There's stuff going on. Also, Kentucky is the place where when I was driving Dance Gavin Dance, one of them shit in a bag and threw it out the window in the middle of rush hour traffic on the freeway.
Yeah, Matt, what else are you going to do when you're driving in the middle of Kentucky? I'd shit in a bag and piss in a bottle too. I'm just searching right now. Top 10 things to do in Kentucky, and I would love to see what comes up.
The first 3 are just meth.
The first 3, meth, your cousin, and fucking suicide.
God
no.
damn.
No. That's my favorite things to do in 3
rough.
I guess catch yourself an OVW event if fucking Blanco Loco's playing, so I guess you can do that.
I know what you can do. You can find where Mitch McConnell lives and beat the shit out of him.
There you go. There you go.
You can vandalize his house every single day.
Well, apparently there's a waterfall.
In Kentucky, that's not true. There's no water in Kentucky.
Fort Knox. Fort Knox.
God damn, I forgot that shit existed.
There's a bunch of gold there. Why would you forget that existed? The number one thing to do in Kentucky via vacationidea.com is Fort Knox. So have fun. Have fun going to fucking... Oh, you can go to the Louisville Mega Cavern. Aw. Oh, you can zip line in it. That looks fun.
All right.
All right. You can go to the Louisville Slugger Museum.
That's what I was telling you about. And you can also go to Papa John's headquarters.
Hey, speaking of wrestling, favorite wrestlers to carry a bat? Sting. It's only Sting.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I know there's other ones that carried a bat.
I think the Brooklyn Brawler had a bat at one time.
That doesn't count.
Why not? It's the Brooklyn Brawler. He was legit.
Did you mean Kenny Bolin, like Star Maker Kenny Bolin? Because I think he lives in Kentucky. Because I know he worked with OVW and shit. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, Vince Russo carried a bat. That's true.
Yeah, that's a valid ass point.
That's an accurate point. That's it. Oh, you know what I read today? So I was gonna go through like some top matches and stuff with Blanco. And I was reading this article about how Vince Russo just liked to fucking literally throw shit into a hat and pull it out and call it a match. Remember when he was going through the phase where he would have tag matches, but it would be for like the cruiserweight title, but it would be like a 6-man tag, and whoever got the pin would get the belt. That's how, if you think about it.
I remember that WWE's done that too, though.
I think that's how David Arquette won the title, if I'm not mistaken, when he briefly won the title.
I thought he won it in that cage match.
3 stages of hell. Right, because he pushed fucking... Was it him or was it Vince Russo that took the dive off the top?
Russo didn't dive. It was Canyon, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Canyon that got thrown off the top?
It was a wrestler. I'm pretty sure it was Canyon. Because I was like, yo, that's a far fall. But like Canyon is trained.
That was such a fucking far drop. Oh my God.
That 3 stages of hell, I remember watching that as a kid and being like, man, why does WCW suck so bad?
Yeah.
Yo,
that was rough.
What I would love to watch is Cornette versus Russo on a shoot match. I would not want to see that because I don't know who. I don't think Russo wants to harm Cornette. I think Cornette wants to harm Russo. Russo once took a order of protection out because Cornette said he was going to come to his house and kill him with a specific gun, and he like lived 30 minutes away from him at the time.
So we're not thinking of the 3 stages of hell from WCW where you had the 3-tier cage, right?
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know. So this next thing is not that. So WCW has their 3 stages of hell, which is the 3 cages, the Hell in a Cell.
WWE's 3 stages of hell is a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Where each match is a different type of stipulated match. Can you name me the 5 that have happened in WWE? There's only been 5. Can you tell me what they are?
It's for sure Angle Benoit.
Nope.
Yeah, Angle Benoit was one of my fucking top matches.
That might have been a 2 out of 3 falls, but it wasn't a 3 stages of hell.
It ended with a ladder match.
Okay, well they didn't dub it a 3 stages of hell.
Oh my God, your shit already fell through. Pretty sure The Stone Cold Triple H had one?
Yep, at No Way Out 2001. Triple H was actually in 3 of them.
Okay. I know Angle and Benoit were in that one.
I'm going to look up what that is right now. So keep guessing and I'll look that up.
I mean, it might not have been called that, but it was that type.
So the Stone Cold Triple H match seems to be the first 3 stages of hell, which was in 2001. Judgment Day did have Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. And
Yeah.
it on the marquee says 2 out of 3 falls. And it does, I mean, that's all it says. 2 out of 3 falls. Second fall, submission only. Third falls, ladder match. Wow. Yeah, but they didn't label
Told
it.
you.
That's weird that they didn't label it 3 stages of hell.
I don't think they had that name yet.
What about, they did, because the first one was February of that same year.
What was your favorite Duchess of Queensberry's rules match?
There's been one.
Yeah.
So that one? I don't know.
Regal and Jericho at Backlash 01.
What? That is so weird, because the very first 3 stages of hell was No Way Out, Stone Cold, and fucking Triple H. And that was in February of 2001. Judgment Day 2001 wasn't until like August or July. That is so weird.
Yeah, Corny would probably kill Russo. Russo seems chill now, but I'd still love to watch wrestling's longest feud come to a glorious end.
Talking about Jim Cornette?
Yeah. That's not wrestling's longest feud.
Hey, after sending you that WCW clip, that old school one that I sent you the other day, I think the
wrestling's longest feud until he died was always Jimmy Snuka and the Alphabet.
Oh.
Too soon?
Hey, wasn't he Hawaiian though? They only used 12 letters.
Wasn't he a murderer?
Yeah, he was.
But
nobody wanted to admit it.
Oh, no, they did. He was just incompetent at the end when they found out.
Wasn't he all like brain? What up? Oh,
I'm looking through all these other stupid match stipulations, like blindfold match. Man, the reverse battle royal. That was a stupid fucking idea.
What was that?
All the competitors start on the outside of the ring.
What? Who did that? Who did that?
TNA.
Oh my god!
For a long time they've blamed Disco Inferno for that. He claims it was not his idea; that it was Pat Simon Diamond's idea.
Man, Simon Diamond. Let's get it.
Viagra
Simon
on
Diamond
a pole was a real match.
That was Vince and who?
No, Viagra on a pole was the franchise Shane Douglas versus Billy Kidman with Tori in the middle, and whoever won got to take the Viagra and go to the back, and it was stupid. I'm pretty sure franchise won, and he grabbed the pills and just ran to the back to like bang Tori. Like, that was so stupid.
They had a 49ers on a pole match. I remember that one. That was fucking stupid.
Did they shove Jim Drunkenmiller up on a stick? That'd be cool. He was an old Niner quarterback. His last name was Drunkenmiller.
Hold on, I'm going to figure out what this... Oh, yeah. Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett on an episode of Nitro in 2000, go figure, did a match called a San Francisco 49ers match. And there was literally 4 boxes hung up from each turnbuckle. And in each box was a different item. And one of the boxes contained the belt. And of course, that was the last box that was open. But nonetheless, it happened. It fucking happened.
Do you remember TNA? They became Impact, and they had a title called the King of the Mountain.
Yeah.
And there was a match, the King of the Mountain. I think it had something to do with standing on a mound for a certain amount of time. Anyways, it was really stupid, and people always thought it was dumb, and they were rebranding their belts. Lashley had won every title that they had to offer, and he was throwing each belt on the ground and denouncing them, which I think is a bad move for your company, because he's just basically saying these belts that we strive to win, none of them matter. He goes, King of the Hill? He throws it on the ground, or King of the Mountain. He goes, what the hell does that even mean? It's just, it reminded me of, how can you even be the champion of television?
It looks like, so what I'm getting from this, there's a cage ringside. X-Pac was on it, and he jumped off and attacked Raven. Shelton Benjamin seems to be in this match as well. and so does AJ Styles, and it
Shelton
looks
Benjamin or Elix Skipper.
like Elix Skipper, I guess. Is that what they're calling him?
It's a completely different person, and you're
No,
just racist assuming that they're all black people look the same.
no, it's Shelton Benjamin, son.
If
Walking
they're in
around.
TNA, I don't think he ever worked there.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin was in TNA for sure.
Was he? Jamie, look it up.
Abyss is in it. Monty Brown, maybe? Maybe
Yeah,
Monty Brown.
the alpha male
Okay.
Monty Brown. Yeah, aka
Okay, it looked
Ezekiel
like
Jackson.
Sorry,
So
maybe I was being a little stereotypical. It looked like
yeah,
Shelton.
you definitely.
Hey, I'm watching a 2005 match on a Mac. It's grainy. Okay, I don't know. It looked like Shelton Benjamin. I thought Shelton Benjamin was in Impact for a while.
So Shelton Benjamin has been with WWE, Ring
He's in
of
WWE
Honor,
now, yeah.
New Japan Pro Wrestling Noah, and that's it.
Him and Charlie Haas started in Ring of Honor, didn't they?
They were originally in OVW. Kurt Angle wanted a tag team. He wanted to start the Kurt Angle
Greatest
thing.
American tag team.
He originally wanted Charlie and his brother Russ.
Yes.
Russ died while at OVW, and they plucked Charlie and put him in a tag team with Shelton.
Oh my god, I think that was a botch. I think AJ and fucking Abyss had a botch in this match.
Ugly.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know who Shelton Benjamin's tag partner was prior to that?
Brock Lesnar, right?
Yep, Minnesota Stretching Crew.
Yeah. That's when they were in OVW. Now, is the OVW that Blanco Loco is wrestling with not the same OVW?
I mean, it's still the Ohio Valley Wrestling, but it's completely different from 2002, if that's what you mean. Al Snow owns it. Al Snow runs it.
Oh wow.
Yep. That's Al's. They still have some decent talent come through, but they haven't been a feeder system to WWE for a long time. Yeah, so
wasn't there if I remember correctly, Raven had some good angles in TNA, and I think he
really did.
Raven was great, bro. I'm one thing that really upset me is they didn't utilize Raven in WWE how they thought they should have.
Vince hated him.
Even in WCW, I mean, first of all, one of ECW's biggest stars. He helped propel ECW to where it was, right?
WCW, a big star in ECW doesn't really equate to much.
I know, but let me just hear me out. WCW, he also had a great run. He was very well established in WCW, had the flock.
Gave him his own stable.
Gave him his own stable. He was in the hardcore matches with Havoc, Sandman. He was
also very topical at the time, because if he looks like that in he didn't look like that in 94, did he? I think he looked like that in 95 and 96, and that's when he was definitely in ECW grunge.
In 95 and 96. He was grunge. He was.
Yeah,
grunge.
he was.
He's always had the even flow.
Prior to that, do you remember Scotty Polo?
Yeah, that was but I mean, he was wrestling
totally
in
different.
Tights. Yeah,
he was a manager.
Him and RVD had a match, didn't they, at one point in WCW?
Oh man, RVD had like one or two matches there before they went under.
He was something Florida or something, Tommy Florida or some stupid name.
I remember him having his name. He was Rob Van Dam on TV, but it was just like, dude, why did you show up here? You fucked up. I remember seeing AJ Styles and being like, oh no, child, what is you thinking?
He was like Robbie Vegas or something like that in WCW for like a short period of time.
Are you talking about Kevin Nash, Vinny Vegas?
He fought. He might have. Yeah, Robbie V versus Vinny Vegas was Rob Van Dam versus Kevin Nash in WCW. I'm looking at it right now.
You're talking about. Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, no, this is like 92.
I was thinking
March 27th, 1993. Robbie V, which is Rob Van Dam, versus Vinny Vegas, which is a very spry looking Kevin Nash. Yes, it is.
That's before he became
Diesel.
Oz.
Oz.
Oz? So WCW is owned by Turner. Turner at the time was buying up all these old movies that no one wanted, like The Wizard of Oz, and then he remastered it in full color, put it on the Turner Classic Movie Channel, and it was a big deal, and he owned it. So they own The Wizard of Oz. Let's start bringing these characters and introduce them. And so Kevin tells them, hey, you guys realize Oz is a place, not a person, right? And they go, no, I don't care.
Oh man, yeah, and he came. Well, look at he came out with Diamond Stud, aka Razor Ramon.
Yeah, the Diamond
Let's
Stud.
let's go,
Have
baby.
you ever seen Scott Hall with a mustache?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe not. No. Let me
When he
see.
was in what is it, AWA? It's his like first official run as anything.
Oh yeah, he does. Hairy ass chest and a big ass mustache. Wow, let's
So
go. Wrestling at the Tropicana. Let's go, baby.
fun
Let's
fact.
go.
Obviously, Scott Hall jumps the barrier and says, "You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here." Okay. Subsequently, a lawsuit ensues. WWE says that they're stealing their characters, that they are portraying Razor Ramon. And the defense that Eric Bischoff used was that is not Diesel and Razor Ramon sent from the WWF. That is the Diamond Stud and Vinny Vegas from WCW back for revenge. And
Yeah.
that's the story they went with in court and won because
Yep.
no, the courts don't know wrestling.
Yeah, especially when you let a dude fucking get stabbed to death and called it fucking kayfabe.
The
Listen.
Demon versus Vampiro wrestling in a swamp.
What?
Brian, I will give you $100 if you can tell me the name of the guy who played the Demon.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Del Torborg.
Del Torborg, okay.
Shouts. Okay, so is Evilise Wrestling one of the best butts in Lucha Underground? Beautiful Chocolate Factory. That is a fucked up way to say butt. Okay, so check it out. Evilise is not wrestling because she's a bitch. She doesn't get along with anyone backstage. She's insanely difficult. I thought her contract dispute with Lucha Underground was really unfair, and I thought that them holding that contract, basically they kept her in contract when they weren't making a TV show, but they wouldn't let her work anywhere else. So she was stuck and she couldn't wrestle anywhere. A few guys had this problem with Lucha Underground, and it held up their careers. She had it the longest. It took her the longest to get away from them. When she did, she joined AEW. She was paired up with Diamante. They were like Sicarias and quickly vanished from television. Diamante still appears, but they openly said they will never bring back Evilise because she is so difficult. I don't think anyone has anything nice to say about her backstage. Like,
I mean, she is Puerto Rican. Go
bro,
figure.
up until recently, I was a big Evilise fan because what got me is Lucha Underground. They had guys wrestle women, and like there was no women's division. Like if you want to wrestle, like whatever, Evilise was only wrestling dudes. Like there were few times that she wrestled Sexy Star or any other women.
She was in Tough Enough and NXT at one point. Looks like.
Yeah, she was on Tough Enough. She didn't win. I think she was on NXT, but she wasn't like featured and shit.
She got
Basically
with.
nobody can work with her. Conan said she was difficult.
Oh. I mean, when you have a bunch of people saying the same thing about you, that reputation's hard to dismiss. You know.
Yeah, I mean that shit doesn't go away. I mean, dude, people have been saying for years that Juventud Guerrera goes into business for himself, that he doesn't give a fuck, and they had him on AEW, and sure enough, he did.
Did you see that match?
I haven't seen the whole thing. I heard it started out with a bunch of botches, and then it got good, and then it ended suddenly. I know the finish, so I want to see it, but I haven't got to yet. I loved Hoovy back in the day. I haven't got to see him in a while, but I've heard him speak, and he's fucking stupid. He is so stupid about certain things, dude. I mean, I wouldn't just say like a person's outright stupid just to be stupid, but he demonstrates the behavior of a person that is stupid, and it's just crazy. I don't know. He's always wilding out, doing some shit to get in trouble.
That's what I heard. I heard he was just fucking super wild and
Conan said he had to fire him 4 times.
Oh, he came out in the fucking getup. Let's go.
He still takes bookings. He's still wrestling, so all that gear is new, and he's been wearing the mask and shit. But he's been
wrestling.
Like Mexico, anywhere that'll take him. Nowhere of like high profile because he's not super professional. You know, he does dumb shit, man. Like he jumped on board with believing that COVID was fake. Lucha Underground is the hottest ring girl ever. Are you talking about Melissa Santos? Because she's married to Brian Cage and he'll kill you. I happen to think that Lucha Underground, they had that girl Katarina. She would come out and she would do the kiss of death. Like was it Mil Muertes? think that's who she was with. He would, the man of 1,000 deaths. He would come out and beat people up, and then like the dude would be knocked out, and she would go down and either kiss him or literally like lick him as he was knocked out. And she was so fine, like gorgeous Hispanic girl. I don't know where she went. I don't know her real name. She was dope. You would have liked her.
Oh, I'm learning the point to this King of the Mountain match. I forgot that I left it on, and it's literally been playing for the last 16 minutes.
I still don't know King of the Mountain. It's such a weird move.
I'm fucking okay. They were working together a second ago. Now they're not. So the point is to, well, now there's a pinfall. Okay. Well, I thought the point was to, it's elimination style. So apparently the point is to take the title belt. It's a ladder match, but you take the title belt and you put it on the ring on top of the ladder and not remove it from the ring from the top of the ladder. And it's apparently no holds barred. There's a fucking, there's a cage that they have Abyss locked up in. So apparently you can just lock somebody in a cage. Once somebody is pinned, you're out for 2 minutes. Oh, so that's what happens. You get pinned, you're out of the match for 2 minutes, and you're put in the cage. The other wrestlers get to continue.
How is the crowd supposed to follow this?
I don't know, bro. It's a lot, but it's a fucking vicious ass match. X-Pac literally just delivered an X Factor from a fucking top of like a 12-foot ladder. It was pretty gangster.
All right. That's got me interested. See, okay. There was a time when WWE pissed me off because they had like, I don't know, this was like 07, 08, 09, the era of like Snitsky, Carlito, just like bad angles, poor storylines, John Laurinaitis as a GM, like, I hate his voice. Fucking hate that guy. None of that shit was cool, and I turned my back on WWE and I only watched TNA. And seeing guys like X-Pac there, all the guys I liked in WWE, like Road Dogg, to see Road Dogg aligned with Conan was the coolest thing ever to me. Because you know, you're such a wrestling nerd. You see like the NWO, DX, and you're like, man, these guys are almost the same thing as the other side, but I bet you they would get along. And then come to find out the Clique is all friends and they're in both stables and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I really liked TNA. I thought it was something special, and it came at a time when there was a huge void in wrestling. And I think they get too much shit, dude. Like, they weren't perfect, but they damn sure tried. And they tried to give us a bunch of cool shit. They brought in a bunch of big stars, whether they flopped or not. They had, I mean, dude, there's guys in AEW that have come through TNA that, like, they're putting their flashback matches on, and it's like, holy shit, I totally forgot Scorpio Sky was there.
Dang.
Impact's got really good shit. I just think they get too much, like, they take too much flack because they probably are, out of like the big three or the big four, they're like, you know, one of the least watched. They're not on a decent television network, and they really haven't been since they lost Spike.
I mean, wouldn't you consider, you're talking about TNA, right?
Yeah, like they were on Spike for a while when they had their best success.
What are the big four?
Pop, Destination America. Now they're on Access, which is better than the last two, but it's like a premium channel. Not a lot of people get.
Access, not a lot of people do get it, but at least what it does have for it is it does have New Japan, or it did have New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it had a lot of fight stuff on it, right? So it does keep the combat sports stuff kind of relevant. I mean, I'd say they're bigger than NWA.
I think it still has fights, but it's mostly like backstage music stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of concerts.
It's like access to things.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's owned by Mark Cuban.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of regional stuff. They've got a lot of like, they have AXS, they have Access Fights, and it's like LFA. It's a couple of different MMA promotions. They do some boxing, underground boxing stuff. They used to do Muay Thai. They used to have a lot more. And then once their contract ran up with like New Japan, it ran up with LFA, it ran up with a couple bigger fight promotion companies. But I mean,
New Japan switched up their TV show and shit.
They're still
they have an American show for us now.
They're still number 3. I mean, I would say NWA is probably number 4.
So NWA is really interesting because they're never gonna operate bigger than their britches. You know, like they stay a certain size. They're a studio wrestling product. They hand pick the venues they want to go to. Like they're gonna go. I forget where it's located, but the Chase not Chase Arena, but the Chase. It's like a historic wrestling venue that NWA used to wrestle at, the same way that they go to the Pyramid in Memphis, or used to. So they're trying to do more of that type of stuff, dude. Nick Aldis is the champ. I like what they do. They got some cool shit. The problem is, NWA had a lot of really good talent, and during the pandemic, they pretty much let everyone go to AEW. Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, Thunder Rosa. She still goes back and forth. Their women's division is awesome, dude. Have you ever seen Camille Brickhouse?
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah. She's a Brickhouse.
She's fire. She's got the most broad shoulders, and she's still gorgeous, but I'm pretty sure she could lift me over her head.
Speaking of Ricky Starks, best match of all time, Ricky Starks versus Broom.
Ricky Starks and Sammy Guevara versus Broom and Mop.
There you go.
I like that Ricky Starks wrestled that Broom and the Broom went over.
Yeah, Broom won. maybe the Broom should fight the Fiend. And
no, what they should do is go dig up Perry Saturn's Moppy.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say dig up Perry Saturn. I was like, Perry Saturn died?
Oh, that's fucked up. He's actually doing a lot better from when he had his issues.
What issues do you have besides wanting to fuck him up?
I was pretty sure that we were about to lose Saturn at one point. He was going off the deep end, mental health wise, and Raven was talking to him and stuff, and I was like, dude, I was messaging DDP on Facebook like, you got to save Saturn, man. Like, yeah, hey, he's doing a lot better. He basically DDP, was like losing his mind. Like, Saturn couldn't remember things or where he put his keys.
CTE, bro. That's CTE.
I mean, essentially,
unfortunately.
But like, from what I understand, you can't get diagnosed because they can only prove it like post-mortem. Yeah, it's fucked up. All right, what news do we got before we get out of here? Because
I think we hit all the topics, man. I think we hit them all. You know,
I definitely got to apologize for all 300 listeners and viewers, especially someone like Jack Davini, who's been here waiting for Dream Girl Ellie to show up because he said she's cute as a button. Not disagreeing with you there. I'm sure Blanco Loco would appreciate the sentiment. Look, they're in Kentucky, so I'm sure there's internet issues. Maybe there's a chance they didn't quite understand that this was a video outlet as well, so that could be my fault. But look, Blanco Loco, Dream Girl Ellie, super interesting. They're not featured on television 24/7 like a lot of other people we watch. So there's a lot of questions I have for them. I want to learn about their careers. I want to learn how they do it. You were asking about OVW. I want to know what OVW is like now. I have no fucking idea. So I still have a ton of shit to ask them. We will get them on the show. If not next week, in the coming weeks. But we'll figure that out. I've been in contact with them, so we'll get some Blanco Loco. Sorry for no guests this week. We've only had this happen like 3 total times a guest bailed.
I don't even know if this is I think this might be number 3. I think this might be number 3.
This is 3.
Yeah.
This is 3. I'm not even going to name the other people, but this one I'm not so upset about because I think it's just, Kentucky and internet. So blame Mitch McConnell. It's his fucking fault.
We all do.
God, I hate him. Brian, where can they find you?
Find me at of Brian of Death on Instagram and Twitter, as always. And then you can find my podcast, the Common Chaos Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter at The Common Chaos. I got a new episode dropping for you bitches tomorrow. So tune in, head on over to the website, commonchaos.net, and check that shit out. What do we got in store for him next week, Matt?
Next week, God, I don't even know what we got in store for you. We might have Blanco Loco. It might just be our ugly mugs talking to you again. But I can tell you we're going to have some fun shit coming up. Maybe we'll, not that side. Maybe we'll invite that band back. Maybe we'll invite one of these bands back. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Lionel Messi just decided to leave Barcelona. So
yeah, he did. He said, I'm out. He said, I'm out.
You know where it's looking like he might go?
Where?
Paris.
Oh, wow.
PSG. You can catch me playing FIFA as PSG, whooping ass online, or you can catch me on Instagram at iHateTheScene. Twitter is IH8TE the scene because some dumb son of a bitch stole their Twitter handle. And actually, Brian, this week, it's former WWE executive Canyon Seaman. It's his fault. He stole our Twitter handle. It's his fault. Canyon Seaman. It's terrible name to have, but that's the guy that if you're a wrestler and you want to get hired by WWE, you go talk to him. Now check this out. Canyon Seaman was recently fired. You know why? Because he let Adam Cole's contract expire. So fuck you. Give us our Twitter handle back. You can catch us
Oh,
every.
the dude looks like a fucking doofus. Fuck you, Canyon Seaman. I can't believe that's
how
your
do you-
real name.
How do you let Adam Cole's contract expire, bro? That is not too sweet.
And he's a fucking beach volleyball player, and he won the silver medal in the 1997 World Championships. Fuck you, Mr.
World
Seaman.
Championships, yo, if it's not an Olympic gold medal or at least a Pan Am gold medal, kick rocks, homie.
You're 49 years old. You went to Stanford. Now suck these nuts.
Suck both of them. Stanford, your mascot's a tree. You can find us every single Friday on twitch.tv/iHateTheScene, facebook.com/iHateTheScene, and the most important one, because I'm not going to feed my family until all of you subscribe, youtube.com/c/iHateTheScene, or just search I Hate the Scene on YouTube and you'll find all our videos. I was actually going back watching our old YouTube channel because someone mentioned Under Oath, and I was complaining about how Aaron Gillespie was rude to me. And I watched our old Under Oath interview with Grant, the bass player.
Yep.
I was so mad that they gave me the bass player. So mad. They're like, he's been in the band the whole time. I'm like, yeah, but he plays bass. A bunch of bass players just tuned out.
All right.
What do we name this episode?
I don't know. I honestly don't know now.
I honestly don't know now. All right.
Yeah. There you go.
See you next week.
I knew I was fucked.